one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Quick reminder to please silence your cell phone. First order of business, public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfield-me.gov. All non-emergency offices will be closed on Monday, February 16th in observance of President's Day. The town clerk is asking public input on Spirit of America Award and the annual town report dedication. To nominate who you think is deserving, visit the town's website or Facebook page. There are still vacancies on several boards and committees. To apply, visit the town office or town website for the appointment application. We're still looking for 3 people for Board of Assessment Review, 1 person for Environmental Committee, 3 people for Land Use Board of Appeals, and 2 people for the Charter Review Committee. Lawrence Public Library, the community conversations every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Baby and Me Playgroup every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Help us celebrate Library Lovers Month in February. Details can be found in our monthly newsletter. Second order of business, public hearings. We have none. Third order of business, public comments. These will be limited to 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments for council to info@fairfield-me.gov by 4 p.m. day of the meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time. Do we have any members of the audience that would like to reserve time or speak? Seeing none, we'll move on. Fourth order of business, town manager and committee reports. Town manager's report.
All right, it's a short one for you this week. So February 10th, I did, which was last night, did attend the Environmental Hazard Committee meeting, which Councillor Townsend will update you on. And then just for general project updates, the budget production is complete. That is what has taken most of the time the last several weeks. Your workshop is Saturday, February 14th at 8 a.m. here at the Community Center. And just for other updates, the police department contract that you voted on last week has been ratified by the police department as presented, so that's good. And then I also spoke with the rep for Public Works this week. They have not met yet, but they are working on trying to get that scheduled. So a member of their negotiating team was actually on vacation last week, so that should happen soon. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the manager's reports? Everybody all set on those? Okay. Committee reports. Councilor Thibodeau, Economic Development.
We met last week, and we had a very spirited discussion on the town farm property. There's a list of questions that we would like to have answered, and then we'll go back and review the questions and begin to create our formal recommendation to the council.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting will be the first Tuesday of March.
Okay.
I can't remember the date, March
That's fine.
3rd or something.
March 3rd.
Yeah, March 3rd.
All right. Councilor Lawrence, building.
Okay, the next building committee meeting is February 24th, right here in the council chambers at 5. The 17th, RFPs are due, and we should be looking at them at the meeting.
Awesome. Yeah, Councilor Townsend.
We had a good meeting last night. We went on a couple different tangents. One is, I guess, 3 different things. We had another member, so it's Jordan Nickerson. So again, helping fill out, almost filling out the committee. So we have one more opening still. The next thing was we met with Roger Kraus, kind of the head of the Kennebec Water District. So that was really good to talk to him and where things are standing and how they can help the town and or at least be a partner with the town. One of the biggest things they're working on, obviously, are their own filtration systems so that they can assure the public to have clean drinking water. But the next thing from there is, how do we work together to provide the same clean drinking water to the rest of the citizens of Fairfield? We're concerned about the ever dwindling amount of money that will be there from the state to use for our filtration systems. and for additional testing. And so we really need to look at other options, and Kennebec Water District will be one of those primary sources that we need to work with. We have a couple things that are going on, which would be, one is there's actually a bill in Augusta to provide about $10 million of funding for a phase one of a water project. We're looking at, through our previous work, looking at a smaller phase that will really take in effect some of the most highly affected areas, and also a proof of concept that it will work and that we'll actually get buy-in. One of the things, again, this is all hypothetical because we don't have the funding right now. It is in Augusta. It's in front of appropriations, but it may die there. But we're trying to work hard on that. That'll be another point to bring up. But I think going forward, Mr. Kraus actually gave his blessing that mandatory hookups would not be required, at least for this phase one. And I think that's a huge point to make this feasible and more palatable to many of the citizens of Fairfield. So that's one of the things we're looking at. So that was a huge step on that end. Funding, that's going to be the difficult thing. Again, it's at the state level. We are going to be meeting again and working on our presentations to appropriations and the appropriate people on that end. Each one of us on the committee has a personal story that I think is important to tell and to really make sure that the town of Fairfield isn't forgotten. And I think that's a big point of ours. So we're going to work hard on having that put together. And we're just working with our legislative representatives, both Senator Searway and then Representative Rudnicki, to keep on pushing on that bill. We're not sure when that's going to come before appropriations, but we're planning on all being there when it does. The next part from there is, what if we don't get that, or even if we do get that, we're also looking at more congressional, so that federal earmarks. And so we're looking at putting together some packages to try to get that funding for this project. So that's where that's our big push right now, trying to get funding, trying to look at the different phases, and being upfront in Augusta and making a difference there. I think the next meeting will be also March 3rd, but that'll be at 6 o'clock here on that date. Kevin, obviously you're part of the committee. I try to hit all the big points, but I'm sure you have some others.
Yeah, I would say once we get that information, when testimony is going to be available in Augusta, maybe we post something on the town website so other residents affected can either do a written or show up in person testimony. I think we have a lot of the demographics covered by the committee when we do go speak. But obviously, the public is welcome to that and highly encouraged.
Great point. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah. Anything else?
No,
that's enough.
I think you covered it. Yeah, it's been very productive.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So for our residents, those that have filtration systems or that are involved, again, I'm very happy with the people that we have representing our environmental committee, not only a couple council members, but people who are directly involved, one who works for the Kennebec Water District, a lot of knowledge. Representative Rudnicki and Searway are still pushing. As Councilor Townsend said, there is a $10 million bill that did get passed last year, bipartisan, sitting on the appropriations desk. It has not been funded. I would urge you to contact your local reps and see how that's going, or even push it higher if you can, because they seem to have money for their own pet projects, but not for our 7,000 residents or so that need clean water. So I'm very happy with that group. I know you guys have some very productive meetings, but thank you for all you're doing and keep pushing forward. And hopefully some of that funding will come through. So I appreciate the work. Thank you. Ice rink committee, we have not met yet until we get some numbers from Sheridan. Really no point to meet, so maybe late March we'll shoot for the next one. Michelle, once she knows what kind of information we have, reach out to our group, and hopefully I have something to report early March before we have another meeting. That's it for committees. Anybody else, any questions for our committees? All right, seeing none. Fifth order of business, consent agenda. These items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 26-22, order that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting 2026-02 held on January 28th, 2026. Item 26-23, order that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's Warrant number 102 in the amount of $598,462.68 to include but not limited to motor vehicle fees, Maine Municipal Employee Health, MSAD number 49 allocation, and New England Salt Company.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Lawrence, second by Councilor Thibodeau. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Sixth order of business, old business, we have none. Seventh order of business, to take action on the following items of business. Item 26-24, order that the Town Council hereby amends the previously approved item 26-08, General Fund Warrant number 99, originally recorded as $131,350.80, to be corrected to the correct amount of $131,350.08.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Thibodeau. Any questions? All those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 26-25, order that the Fairfield Town Council hereby amends the previous appointment of a one-year term and appoints Jordan Nickerson to the Environmental Committee for a 3-year term to expire at the annual organizational meeting in January of 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Thibodeau, second by Council Townsend. Any discussion?
I think this will allow this staggering. Yeah.
So when, we can discuss it now, or we were just going to discuss it on the next item. When we went back and looked, and you created that committee, there was staggering in place for those positions. So this was the last 3-year term, so you have the 2 more that are for the 2 years.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 26-26, order that the Fairfield Town Council hereby amends, approves the Town Council Administrative Policy.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Townsend.
So this should be the updated, most up-to-date version of that for you, unlike where we had the older copy that you received by mistake last meeting, where it includes the languages for the change from the charter regarding annual town meeting. It includes the environmental committee, the standing ad hoc committee being put in, which has the staggering terms, all of those pieces that were missing from the last set.
Council Kitchen.
Just a question on the Environmental Committee, under Committee Demographics number 5. We had discussed, or maybe it was my notes, I'm just clarifying, maybe I wrote it and recommended it, I don't remember. She has it correct. The committee shall meet as needed to address the needs of the mission. And then I have written down in my notes to ensure, can you read my own writing? Emerging information and updates are provided to council in a timely manner.
I don't think we added that.
Did I add that?
I think that might have been your notes, but
Okay.
I think we took this directly from the form which was adopted.
Okay. Nope, that's fine. I couldn't remember. I saw my notes here.
I mean, we'll go back and double check, but I don't recall that being changed.
And then on section 108, number 3, on page 14 there, the very last, you have registration procedure. I think that should be omitted.
That's part of the statute
Statute.
on what it's
Oh,
referencing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the title of the statute.
all right. That makes sense.
It looked like something else was missing there. So
Yeah. There is a period.
Or well, I guess that could be a comma. not
There should be
period.
a period after. Yeah, it could be a comma and the period after procedure.
That's all I have.
Was it? Anybody else? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Eighth order of business, council workshop and other business. Discuss event committee and dates for potential events. So I did a little bit of research, talked to Michelle about some possible dates. We looked, of course, Winslow, Clinton have their events locally, Augusta as well. Try to revolve around Skowhegan and Oakland. So I had a couple of dates to throw out, but really the only thing that's available with nothing going on is July 10th through the 12th. That would be a Friday through Sunday weekend. I've got a bunch of ideas, but I'd really like to make it so that the council is in on this with me. Maybe if we attack 5 different animals, Peter and the Grange, or Kevin and Peter with the Grange. We can work with PAL, Economic Development, just some people there that we could potentially grasp some ideas. Last year, when we were looking at Fairfield Heydays, I had a bunch of daycares that had reached out and wanted to help. I still have my notes when Kim Hawks and I were working on that to get some major sponsors, Pepsi, Valley. Once we have a date set, I'll dig deeper into it to bring back. I'd work probably with Kim Linloff, Kim Helberg from the chamber now, and see what other types of events I'd like to involve the Legion, VFW, Halfields, Community Center, maybe a car shows, just basic ideas and make a weekend out of it.
Something's going on. Hold on.
Honestly speaking.
What's wrong, Chad?
On July 10th, I have Studio 2, the Beatles tribute band, booked that night for at the park.
perfect.
Oh, so yeah.
We could roll that in.
So that could be a perfect
Maybe
timing.
guys
That would be fantastic.
dancing in the streets.
'Cause I already tried to reach out to Dirty McGurdy and Motor Booty just to see if they were available. So July 10th, Beatles tribute band. So we can incorporate. Chad is at the park,
Yes.
at the gazebo, yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
So I think we could make a fun weekend out of
Yeah.
it. If we can pick a date, maybe get a logo. I mean, I've got a couple veterans here. I think we can use their brains and incorporate. And I don't want to volunteer everybody, but I think if we're going to pull it off, it's going to take the 5 of us.
And I would agree. I've been talking to some people around the community that are really gung-ho about it, and some really good organizers as well.
Yep.
Some of the same names that you mentioned, but I think they're happy to do something and looking at doing stuff for Fairfield. So we'll definitely talk more.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we can settle on that date now,
I think that's a great date. It's right after the 4th of July. It's kind of still in the same feeling.
Yeah. If you already know that date's available and
Folk
least
Fest is the
constrictive.
17th, and you've got events going on the
Yeah.
weekend of the 4th, because the
But-
4th falls on a Saturday.
And again, this is to celebrate the 250th birthday
Yep.
of our country. So you mentioned wanting to have an event committee. I'm having flashbacks. This is the second month, and you're talking in 5 months
Yeah.
pulling something
Yeah.
off. Just so you know, it can be done. I did Fairfield Days the first time in 3 months. So I would really suggest that, number one, we've got money in the budget for this year for events, correct, Michelle?
We do have money in the budget for events.
I can't remember how much it is. I can look it up.
I can
I
tell
should
you.
have.
Just 1 second, I'll tell you.
I'm not so much concerned about money at this point.
But you're going to need to have
as events, because I know we'll.
27,000.
27,
Yeah.
but we don't want to spend that much money.
No, we have plenty, but if we can pick a date, what I'd like to do next meeting, our very next February meeting, the five of us come in with a couple different ideas apiece. And then plan on that. Where would we host it? Where would we have it? Like I said, I'd like to have the Grange involved, even if it's just a wellness clinic, blood pressure check, cholesterol, whatever, things we could get the hospital involved. Peter's got some healthcare background.
Yeah, I talked to a few people already. They're willing to help, so.
Yeah, and I'll go down to the VF and we can talk to them. And again, even the Legion.
We just gotta find out too from the town office if any rentals here in that
Yep.
time frame
Yeah,
too.
we'll have to
Yeah.
look.
So we'll have to check, see if the community center is available for the 10th. Gives me time to call Pal, see if they'd be on board. And if we already know we've got a music event in the park, I think it's a good start. So we can get moving on it, make it something that's fun. But Steph's right, time is of the essence. So we come up with some basic ideas in a couple weeks, the five of us, and that's going to be our event committee.
Can we look at maybe doing a special meeting where we can invite the public to discuss it so it's not during council business?
Absolutely.
And we can brainstorm. I personally will do whatever I can to help. I will not be available that weekend. I have friends in the Blue Angels. They're going to be in the show in Brunswick that weekend, so I'll be down there. But I'll do whatever I can to help out.
I think more ideas, brainstorming, and once we choose the venues, you have probably a separate group for each venue to make sure it's pulled off, so you don't have one person trying to be in 4 or 5 places at once.
That's good.
So I think we can pull that off. So if we can just have some basic ideas by our next meeting, which is with the 25th, and then we'll set a committee date to meet separately on maybe a Saturday or something, and we'll get out and discuss that. Anytime we're dealing with sponsorship, I want to make sure we have something set up with the town so that they know if we ask for any type of sponsorship, we're spending money wisely. And when I say that, I'm talking tents, chairs, maybe bounce houses, things of that nature that I'd like to get donated, not necessarily come out of our festival funds.
Mill Island,
Hill Island Park would be a great theme.
We'll have the seniors down there for luncheon or something too.
Yeah. I'd like to talk to Travis and even the police about chicken barbecue. That used to be a
touch the
big,
truck type of thing.
So that's why I would like all of us to have just some few basic ideas for next meeting, just to get a good list. I bet we'll have 20 things. We won't be able to pull them all off. But I really bet each of us with 4 different things, maybe we can pull them off, but that will gain some excitement and we can get moving and then put a cost to things and go from there.
Totally agree.
So we'll tentatively go with July 10th then. Okay. Any other discussion on that?
That's July 10th to the
To the
12th.
12th.
Yeah.
We'll build in some rain dates.
Yeah. Spreads out the whole weekend, which
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
Should be good. We'll make it fun. Any other discussion on that? Okay. Discuss the annual letter to MSAD number 49 regarding the Crawford Fund. Michelle, can you just do a brief overview on that again?
Sure. First of all, there's a quick little correction. Councilor Thibodeau pointed it out earlier. It's the third line at the bottom of the first paragraph. It said earned interest income, and then it had a number of 52,000 and something. That needs to come out. It should say $34,599.75 was earned interest income. comma, 18,295.99 realized gains, and 64,978.73 was unrealized gains. Just so to make sure you're looking at the right document. So the Crawford Fund, as you're aware, is a trust fund that we have here that we are responsible for managing. The band and chorus group at the high school and junior high are eligible for up to 90% of any year's gains. So the maximum we had a annual income of $43,275.85. Of course, there was a distribution to Lawrence High School in this year, so that goes against what they have at the end of the year. So they did receive $69,000 last year. But this year they're eligible for $38,948.27.
Last year was actually a 2-year contribution, because I don't believe they took anything.
But the piece before, that was not reflected in that $69,000 amount.
Okay.
That was separate. It was like $273,
Yep.
I think, is what they didn't get their payment for. So last year was a good contribution. It wasn't everything that they were eligible for, but it was a substantial amount. So in every year when it has gains throughout the year, if they get a distribution, that comes off the top. So that's some of the issues that they've had over the years, is that you get a great distribution, but then we don't have any real gains throughout the course of the year because the stock market hasn't been great. So that further impacts what they get the following year. But the conversations with the school over the last several years has been trying to keep that in mind, in which they maybe don't necessarily request everything that they're entitled to, so that some of that does stay in there and continues to grow. So the way that this works is we will send this letter out to them tomorrow. It will go to the school. The chair of the town council is the automatic rep to the Crawford Fund Committee. The chair will meet with the Crawford Fund Committee. They discuss their budget, and then they present that all to you at their meeting in July after the first of the fiscal year, and then we approve their funding that they've requested.
Okay. It was a pretty simple process. I worked with Dan Bauer as a principal of the high school for a long time, and they did not take everything that they were allotted last year, so they're very conscious of that fund. Any member have any questions about that? Kevin, you all good? Okay.
Okay, great.
Item 3, discuss draft AI policy.
Is this a MMA policy or coming out through them, or?
Pretty close. Maine Municipal Association has done a considerable amount of presentations on AI and AI policies. Their AI policy presentation breaks it down almost every slide for every category that you needed. We struggled a bit because they recommended educational training that everybody should have to take, and we were trying to find something that would fit within that category because it wasn't actually there yet. And now we have this piece that we found. So. But it is a requirement that they are having. Some of the stories that they will tell you when you take these trainings is astronomical, what can happen with AI.
Is now happening on Facebook. False information.
Yes.
AI can call you up,
Yeah.
your phone number, impersonate your voice, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that Facebook has nothing but the truth on it, but, I mean, come on.
But AI is,
So-
artificial intelligence not really, it's taken more adapting to, taken out of the real thinking. That's what it is. And
Yeah, so we have to be really careful considering the fact that what a lot of people don't realize is when you use AI, the data that you put into it no longer belongs to you anymore. And it can be used by pretty much anybody on the other end of all of that. So what we have to be careful of is, one, to make sure, because we do deal with HIPAA required and protected information through police department, fire department, and make sure that staff is aware that those things can never be shared and uploaded into an AI application, all of those different things. However, AI is an approved practice for police reports for a very long time, and it happens all across the state and all across the country. But there needs to be provisions put in place because there are states that will not allow AI-generated reports because there have been police reports that have been put out that have referenced police officers that weren't even actually on duty that day. So this is why these parameters are being put in place, and that it's a reality check for folks that you do need to actually proof this work. There are only certain things you'll be allowed to use it for. It is a technology that does make some people's lives easier, but we need to be prepared to handle it and deal with it.
So will this become Section 804 of the administrative policy?
I think it's going to be a standalone policy, actually, is what I envisioned it as being, only because of the fact that it will have to be fluid and be able to be updated on a very regular basis, as opposed to having going back into council administrative policy. Like, we can reference the fact that we have it in there just the same as we do the personnel policy. But that is one of the things, while we've taken these trainings, they've said is that this policy needs to be not so cumbersome that you can't change it with the changing times, because it is an issue that is evolving over time every day. But Maine Municipal Association is spending a great deal of their time watching all of this, and they do have a gentleman that's in charge of it he's been teaching this all over the state, so it's really good.
Yeah, and I bring that up because Article 8 is on communication and media. So there should be
We can reference it, but
reference.
I don't want it to necessarily live in there because you'll be updating that large document
Right.
every time we turn around.
Okay.
And I just think at this time it needs to be able to be more fluid than sticking it in there.
Okay.
But it is going to be one of those things that needs to go, not just to our staff, but to our committee members as well, and all of that. People need to understand.
See, I'm not a believer in this.
No,
I believe on the human intelligence.
I agree with you.
So I've seen things happen in the military. We used some of this already and kill someone's career.
But
So-
there are times where we use this already, and a lot of people don't think about it. The autocorrect that's in Microsoft Word is technically AI. There is a feature in Zoom that will give us a transcript of this meeting. That's AI, right? So there are a lot of components that happen all the time in our daily lives that we don't even realize they're there. And this policy hopefully will bring that to light with so the staff will double check and stop and think about these things before they hit that send button.
There's definitely a technology here. It's not going to go away. I agree
I
with you.
understand.
I don't like it, but I don't like change. So I think this policy being placed protects us for the dangers that AI also brings. Although being a useful technology, it brings an unknown danger. And these policies, like Michelle said, they need to be able to be corrected at all times, updated constantly. I know our police are going to use them. I can see fire and ambulance using them, maybe even public works. It's going to get used, and these next generations coming in, they're going to use them far more than we do today. So it's good. We need these in place, and I like the ability to be able to go back in as an on-needed basis to correct them. And that's what this is for, to help correct those dangers that the exposures that AI are going to bring. Council Kitchen.
I got a couple things. I think AI is here to stay, and we have to embrace it. And I think this is a great step for the town. I do have a couple of questions on it, though. On number 9, security, it says only town-approved AI tools. I'm sorry. Are we going to list those in this document or update them, or how does somebody know what those tools would be?
We probably should list those within the document, or it becomes like an appendix to the document so that it can
That
get,
you could-
if
you
you
can
get a new
update.
one, you just update the appendix.
Okay.
Yep.
Install or use AI software that has not been approved by the town. The town being you for your staff, I would take it.
Right. So most all of our staff typically are not allowed to actually just generically install software onto their PCs. There's our IT folks have a provision in place that locks the ability for us to be able to do that. This is just stating the fact that that will continue.
So, and why I ask that is because they have internet access, they can go to ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any of those Microsoft AI tools, and they're not installing them. So
Right.
I'm thinking that's where you were going with this. Okay. And then,
So if we do list an appendix on the security, that would simplify things and also be able to be updated
Easily.
much
All the
easier.
time.
List definitions.
I want to take a step back onto the first page, number 4, guiding principles, transparency. It says when appropriate. I know that's very vague. The use of AI should be disclosed. I think it's difficult. I sat and tried to answer my own question on what I would recommend. I don't know what to recommend there and what would be appropriate. Like, I'd submitted something to Tim and yourself, and I disclose in there that I used AI for certain things when appropriate. So is that a judgment call? I mean, it just seems kind of vague.
I think we could probably settle that by putting in an example, right? So like I listed, we use spell check and grammar check all the time in a Word document. We're not necessarily going to flag that and be like, there's AI involved. But if ChatGPT helped write your memo, then you should probably put a little asterisk at the bottom that says use ChatGPT. So maybe that might help explain that. And again, that's another one of those pieces where in taking these trainings, they said this is one of those things where you have to be fluid on, because it may be a legal document or something that you're submitting somewhere where they're going to say you cannot use AI and you need to denote that you didn't use AI, right? So there have been all of these things, but maybe an example like that would help clarify that. So
Footnote might work when we use it for those publications as it's more of a research paper, and it is summarizing for us.
right.
So if you did use like a Chat GPT, I think the little asterisk
Yes.
Yeah.
might.
Now, oftentimes I do want you to know I can tell because I know how
Yeah.
people talk and their
I use it
syntax
all the
and how
time.
they work. And
I'm the first
I
one
have
that-
received a few memos and I have said, I'm relatively certain
Yeah.
you have used ChatGPT and did not put that in there. that you
Even,
did.
I've seen it in
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah,
where
it
it's
happens a lot.
blatant. And then the last, kind of on the same subject, is the industry is now coming out with AI certificates. Maybe that's something that we could look into for our staff, is getting certified for it. Have you looked into any of
I
that?
haven't really heard anything about that yet at our level, but I also haven't been to one of these trainings in about 6 months. So, but what I can do is that what we were looking at doing was, one, the PowerPoint presentations that are out there already for folks, because that helps provide examples. If you go to the class, you get a certificate that you attended that class, but I don't know if they're saying that you're certified in this, but we can look into that too. Yeah.
I think it's a great first step.
My only thing would, my only risk is IT. Okay, with cybersecurity, any breaches, AI could be big on cybersecurity, and then we're in insurance problems. So I would integrate it with whoever our IT company is. I know we may be changing soon, but
We are. So we were notified last week that Waterville IT will no longer be covering us as of the 1st of July. So they are working on gathering me some data so that we know what we need to bid out. So we'll see how that works. But we've had an 8-year relationship with them. It's been a great relationship. But one of the things that they referenced was the fact that technology has gotten to the point that they don't have the capacity to take on a town our size, and didn't feel that they were giving us the service that they thought that we needed to have some more due diligence on site and more people. So they've been wonderful to work with, and we're going to be sorry to see them go and to move on with somebody else. But this has been a topic of conversation for all of us, is how do we make sure that happens? And our municipality has been the victim of crypto viruses twice. We do have insurance coverage through Maine Municipal Association at no additional cost to us. They were able to pick that up for all of their insurance members. So we are covered for that. But it crippled our community, well, our town office and our staff when we had that, and it's something that none of us want to see repeated ever again. And that was just by opening up a fluke email. I mean, you have to be so diligent now. I mean, the number of times you've all asked me to go get you some debit cards is staggering. We know that those are not real, but there's so many others too that you're just never quite sure. And they look like the email address they're supposed to come from. They've got the logo in them, so you have to be conscious all the time. And AI can tend to make you a little bit more relaxed about things because they are so good. This policy and discussing this often with the staff will help us try to keep it in mind that we need to not let our guard down.
So are you thinking like a annual training, like cybersecurity or something?
It will probably be part of our usual annual packet for the staff, and we have several of those now that we have to do, and that it's just a memory jogger of checking in. And now a lot of our individual professional groups, so the Maine Firefighters Association and the State Police Chiefs Association, they've all started having these trainings as well. They're part of their curriculum. Town clerks have done them, tax collectors have done, like everybody's doing them. This is a big one. And like I said, I think I've been to at least 2 at a manager's training, did one at KV Cog, took a separate one at another institute. Like there's just, it's out there. It's become big news now.
Should we add that to our policy, annual training?
It just as an annual review.
And maybe it may not be necessarily to start, but again,
Getting
it's a
there.
working document.
Yeah.
It may need to be updated more often.
Well, one of the other things we're going to have to do too, so after tonight's meeting, we get done our discussions here and any changes we need to make, this will also go out to all of the department heads and it needs to go to the staff because it's a policy change.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure our unions are aware of all of it too, that they don't have any issues with it, but they're all dealing with the same stuff. I think we'll be fine.
Get
but-
their input as well.
Yeah, exactly, because they, like I said, I haven't been to a training in about 6 months on one of these. Maybe they've gone to one sooner and something has even changed since then.
Yeah.
But we've had this together for a while. It was before Christmas, and we've just kind of been sitting on it until the agenda cleared up enough to start the conversation, so.
It's a great head start, so. Anybody have any other questions, comments?
Definitely timely. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you started.
Really kind of is. Great.
Okay.
All right.
Discuss other council business. We'll start with Councilor Thibodeau.
On February 21st, there'll be a CERT training here in the conference room at the community center. The public is encouraged to come if they'd like to know more about CERT and participate with the training. Our focus will be going through our go bags and hopefully labeling everything. So it's a good chance for you people to see what we really are going to be doing.
Great. What time?
7:30 in the morning
7:30.
to 9:30.
Councilor Kitchen.
Yeah, I got a couple things. I'm going to refer to the town manager's report. If the public doesn't read that, I highly recommend it. There's a section in there from Chief Leary about the File of Life program. Very good program. I encourage people to look at that and enroll, I guess you could say. I don't want to read the whole thing here, but it's on our website. And then from the police chief, I'm just going to read this because I think it's worthy. Finally, in January, the department lost a long-time member, Sergeant Matthew Wilcox, due to medical issues. Sergeant Wilcox was hired in 2004 and promoted to sergeant in 2015. He served as firearms, taser, and less lethal pepper ball instructor, and played a significant role in training new officers, particularly through his supervision of the FTO program. We wish Sergeant Wilcox the best in his recovery. So thank him for his service to our police department. Next thing, I had a question for Councilor Townsend. Are we getting anywhere with the video? I know we had done a dry run on one of the committees, and
So I need to work on I need a sound, would be one. You can kind of pick it up, so we need to work on getting better, probably hookup from the iPad if we use that, and if we have a central microphone or something along that.
I have a
or even a Bluetooth microphone that we could set up in. this proximity. To
I have a camera that I used for my retirement ceremony one time that I think maybe at our next committee meeting, we try that. It
be
might
great.
work. And I think it has, I have the ability to Bluetooth. I can set the Bluetooth right at the table and it should pick that up.
Super. Let's give that a try as well.
It's just nice, because I wanted to attend some of these committee meetings. At the last minute, I was available, and I'm like, oh, we already have 2 counselors there, and it's like, so it'd be nice to be able to watch them.
Agreed.
Another thing I had was, and I caught it at the beginning, was the Charter Review Committee. We need 3 people. We still need 3 because the charter says we need to have 5 in addition to a council member.
I received another application
Oh,
since
okay.
the last
Okay.
meeting. So
Perfect.
there's 3 applicants right now, so 2 more plus.
Okay, could I get that from you? And the last thing I had is, like I started at the very beginning, encouraging our residents to shop local. We get a lot of local businesses around. Whenever I can, I always prefer to shop local, and that helps everybody out from the tax base to our employees, and the list goes on. So shop local.
Thank you. Councilor Lawrence?
Just on February 20th, the senior luncheon at the Grange from 11 to 1. That's it.
Councilor Townsend?
I met with Sean Landry from Somerset Public Health last week. Just having this, he's trying to have his 100 Cups of Coffee program, trying to meet with people from around the surrounding communities to Reddington Fairview Hospital. So his big focus on the public health end is reaching out to different towns and what can they do and what is needed in our towns. He met with the library as well. He met with the fire department recently, and I think it was a good discussion of the fact that there are a lot of individuals, trying to provide because of the loss of some of our providers. There are people that are unserved and probably falling through the cracks. Even when we do routine health screenings, that could be a great program for our community. And it maybe, as we talked about going forward with the fire department as well, they talked about the paramedicine program. So there are things that way that we could be advantageous. So just having that first chance to meet somebody from the public health end of things and connected to Reddington. And I think that could be advantageous to Fairfield in providing some services and also providing for better health care for our citizens. So that was just a neat first step. So I enjoyed having that meeting. That's all I really got.
All right, fantastic. Next week, school vacation. Just remind everybody, all the little fellas and guys and girls will be out and about.
Wow.
We still got snowbanks. Public Works did a fantastic job today. Just be aware they're out. I've heard still more complaints. They don't look when they cross the road, and just be aware of that. We all busy. We're glancing at cell phones or navigation systems or whatever it may be. So be aware. Basketball tournaments are going on. I don't know if our boys are in, but I believe the girls are. So wish them the best of luck. And one last thing, happy belated birthday to Dr. Townsend. He spent his birthday here last night
No place I'd rather be.
with the environmental committee. So I think that shows some fantastic dedication. So
Thanks.
That's all for me.
It wasn't a real special birthday, so 57 is kind of like
They're all special.
All right. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, the next regular meeting for the Fairfield Town Council will be on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, to be held as a hybrid meeting in council chambers and via Zoom at 6:30 p.m. At this time, we will recess. Council can recess, sign all documents that require the signature.
Make a motion to recess.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Thibodeau.